But whenever there's a change, or whenever something like this happening, there is a birthing process. Starting with the coronavirus, the birthing process comes with pain. My feeling is that we're living in very auspicious times. I think we are in the Sathya age. I think things, they are changing. I think they're going to be changing for the better. But whenever there's a change, the birthing process comes with pain.
The coronavirus pandemic is causing global pain, but Chuck DiFAZIO chooses instead to focus on what it can teach us, always mindful of the fear, stress, and pain it causes in so many. Chuck and his wife Patty turned to Sai Baba for guidance in passing through this dark period in world history. Welcome to Souljourns, and to this interview with Chuck DiFAZIO recorded on Zoom in Connecticut and California on April 11th, 2020.
Okay.
Chuck DiFAZIO, welcome to Souljourns. It's a great treat to be able to catch up with you again. I want to know where you are and how your faith keeps you grounded, keeps you centered as the whole world goes through this dangerous period that we're in.
Why don't you start with a hard question?
That's the hardest one I can think of.
Starting with the coronavirus, to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm really able to talk about the coronavirus, except to say my feeling is that we're living in very auspicious times. I think we are in the Sathya age. I think things, they are changing. I think they're going to be changing for the better. But whenever there's a change, or whenever something like this happening, there is a birthing process. And my feeling is that the birthing process comes with pain. What we're experiencing is some of that, some of the pain. Baba has said that the old age is winding down while the new age is here and winding up. And that's, of course, the birthing process. So I remain very hopeful and very positive. Patty and I have talked an awful lot about how blessed we are to have been born in this age, to have seen the avatar of the age, to heard his voice, and to have touched him and have him touched me. And so I choose to look at this in a positive way.
Well, I think that's right on target. In fact, I've never heard anybody express it quite so directly as that. I do believe we're at a crossroads, and I'm scared to death. And yet I try to use my highest powers of reasoning to understand that there's really nothing to be scared of. The eternal I am, the eternal you, the eternal Baba has no fear because there is no death. So I don't know if you're in accord with me on that respect at all, but I'd like to hear your feelings.
Patty has emphasized in our discussion, usually have morning discussions about spiritual matters. And she has emphasized that the Satya Sai Baba, Prema Baba, and Shirdi Baba are the physical expressions of the divine consciousness. And as Patty said, the divine consciousness is everywhere. It's in my shirt, it's in these walls, it is in the air, it is everywhere. And consequently, we can talk with it and it can talk with us. And that's where I choose to go. I choose to believe that that it's here, that the divine consciousness is here, it's not somewhere else. And because of that, again, the only way I can say it is I choose to be positive about what's coming and what is. If we just look at the beauty of Shirdi Sai Baba's life and Satya Sai Baba's life, if they are nothing but the film of what is to come, then what is to come is going to be beautiful also. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have to stay.
Yeah, that gets pretty deep.
Well, remember this, you're correct when you say the most important part of Baba's message is that he is everywhere, that he is the divine consciousness. But the second part of his message, the second most important part of his message, at least as I have heard him say it, is just two words. and that is be happy. So it's a choice. And my feeling is that the choice in these times is to say, it is what it is. Right now, live. Right now, I have food on the table. If all this changes, it changes. But right now, everything seems to be at least copacetic. If I do nothing else but choose to tell jokes and laugh, uh, I think I'm way ahead of the game.
That you're a writer, you're a singer, you're a composer, and I'm familiar quite intimately with, I think it was your first book you wrote, which spawned two other books. You're prolific because that one was a very long book, as I recall, and I read every word of it. And you also are a good student of Baba because you mentioned it in your song, He Will Guide You. And currently, I think if I understand what you wrote to me lately, he hasn't guided you to continue writing right now. So for the moment, the computer keyboard is still when it comes to a new book from you. Is that right?
I've written 3 books. I wrote From Where Did You Come, which is my path to Baba. And then I wrote a book, Apollonius, the Divine Magician.
That's the one I wrote. That's one I read. I loved it.
And I'm going to tell you a story about that in a minute. Then the last one is an historical novel. I had the opportunity to get to know Niven Sinclair, who's the clan historian for the Sinclair clan. Because of that, I got information. But the point is that I'm not really a writer so much as a storyteller, and I just don't have another story to write. But I want to tell you one story about Apollonius. A couple of stories actually about the book Apollonius.
First of all, a brief overview.
Pardon?
First of all, a brief synopsis of what Apollonius is.
Apollonius of Tyana was a very great soul, and I'm going to tell you what Baba said about him in a minute. But he was a very great being. He was a master and probably a partial avatar. And he was born in what is now Turkey. It was a Greek family and a very wealthy family. Left all of that and then traveled all around the world. Went to India for several years, became a Vedantist, came back to the Mediterranean area and taught that everything is one. And he would go to different religions, different temples, and he would teach the hierophants and the priests this concept that everything is one. And the proof of that was he would go to all these different temples and they basically teach the same thing. But it's very great being. And Baba has said that he was a master and a partial avatar. And in fact, that little note is in the beginning of the book. But I want to tell you this story. My wife and my daughter went to put a party one year, and they went up to the spiritual museum. And in the spiritual museum, up on the 3rd floor, there was a section called Greek philosophers. And on that wall was what Baba said about Apollonius, that he was a great master. And they took a picture of it, but it reflected. So when they got home and they showed me the picture, they developed the film, I couldn't see what was written. The following year, Patty and I went to Puda Party, and I went up to the 3rd floor late in the afternoon, just about a half hour before the museum was to close. And I went up on the 3rd floor, and I waited till everybody started shifting down until where I was all alone. And then I took the book, Apollonius, that I have with me, and I walked up to that plaque that was on the Greek philosopher's wall, and I just placed it on Baba's words and prayed. And it was a very, very wonderful moment for it. Patty just picked this up. This is, I don't know if you can see this, but
You can see it perfectly.
That's a copy.
Is it still available at Amazon and other places?
Yeah, it is. It's only available on Amazon as an ebook now. It is not in hardcover. However, you can buy hardcover on Amazon. And the other day I went up on it, and you can buy this book for about $900. I couldn't believe it, $900. So there you go.
You have a good agent. What I want to do is, I'd love to talk on, and I hope to do that again. I want to end it here. I just want to thank you for your patience and your willingness to do this. We've had a couple of false starts over the years, as happens with Souljourns. I hear a story like yours, and I feel renewed. And I just want to thank you, because there's so much that's going on in the world now. I think people who are, especially those who are on a profound search, can see what others are going through and profit on several levels from how they're handling this. I don't want to use the word test, challenge. This is a challenge for all of us. And your words at the beginning especially spoke to that so well, Chuck. How would you sum things up?
Well, all I know is that Baba is my door. I don't look at him. I don't look at the form necessarily, but I use the Baba form as my doorway to the divine consciousness. I realize I've been tremendously blessed to have known and seen, and as I said, even touched the avatar of the age. So I just rejoice. As far as I'm concerned, what happens, happens. At my age, whatever happens is up to him anyway. So
I think you're my junior, probably by a couple of years. Well, I'm going to be 75 not too long from now.
you're just a kid.
Good. In the word you just used, rejoice, is its root word, joyful. And I think of both of you as being joyful human beings. And that's exactly what Baba calls us all to be. So thank you for bringing light to the world with your song, your words, your books, and in this interview as well. Take care, be safe, and we'll talk to you again. Okay?
Thank you, Ted. Appreciate it.
Sairam, Sairam, Sairam.
We can't forget that second part of Baba's teaching, and that is the choice to be happy.
And I remind myself of that often, because our unhappiness, to a great degree, is just thoughts in our head that cause our unhappiness. And one of the greatest examples of that is during a period of stress such as this, we tend to catastrophize quite easily. And there's a lot to catastrophize about with this coronavirus.
I'm going to ask Patty to get a song, and I'm going to play you a song. This goes to exactly what you're asking me and what we're talking about. This is a song that Patty and I wrote about 20 years ago, and in 2001, we sang it at put a party in front of Baba. Okay. In storm and gale, our fears abound. Strong winds descend, blow us around. With doubting minds and fears profound, the winds of change can take us down, but we must walk this walk with him, no matter how strong those winds blow in, and he will light our way each night with joy, with joy, with joy. Give to him your pain and fear, and all those winds will disappear. For Sai has come to calm the winds and bring us peace for 1,000 years, and He will light our way each night with peace, with peace, with peace, like passing clouds, the storm abates, and in the stillness Swami waits. So laugh and smile and be complete, for Sai is here in all that we need, and He will light our way each night with love, with love, with love. Yes, He will light our way each night with joy, with peace, with love, with joy, with peace, with love.
Bravo, bravo. A great duet, by the way. And thanks to Patty for joining in with you, too.
She's my treasure.